Reclaiming Timeless Ways, another episode underway with Mike Traster, Simon Fuller, and you. Glad to have you as a part of our show, and as always, we hope you get a little bit of value out of today's episode. And for quick little reminders on future episodes, make sure you follow us and even subscribe to the notifications. Share out the videos too. We always hope, Mike, you're a big advocate of the pay it forward concept. It's echoed through other shows. We don't get paid for this. You don't see any sponsors in it. This is because we love you. We care about you. And our only request, and in fact, we should probably request it every show, is if you get a nugget of anything good from us, you pass it along to somebody else. That's the only fee we're asking today.
Absolutely. That's so important. It really is.
So with that, give us our topic to extrapolate some nuggets of goodie from today, Mike.
Well, I thought I'd start off by making fun of myself since I have so much raw material to work with. And so I was going to say, well, this is about, am I speaking clearly? Am I speaking clearly?
It's funny, I've had my kids lately,
Yeah.
and this is probably, I'm maybe getting too literal here, but they've actually, at church, my 10-year-old, 10 and a half, he'll correct me, almost 11, Dad.
Right.
He is part of some of the kid ministry stuff they were doing, got an opportunity to speak in front of the church and actually read some of Scripture as part of the service.
Okay.
He's done that a couple times since. Then my daughter, who's 8, wanted to do that.
Right.
And what does Dad say? Speak clearly and slowly.
Enunciate.
And that's one of the basics in communication we talk about.
Yeah. Well, you're very disciplined, and now I think it's gotten to the point of being unconscious for you. 'Cause
Sure.
You've done it for so long. Yeah.
And you know what I find ironic is I was a big-time, quiet-talking, mumbly kid.
Okay.
Almost a little lispy
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Lisp.
In fact, once in a while, my sister, twin sister, I know she watches this, would make fun of me. Hey, Simon.
Stop listening.
Yeah.
I'm not
She will.
listening.
And I was. We watch home videos, and of course, there I was. But yeah, speaking clearly. What are some thoughts on that topic, Mike?
You should speak clearly.
Right.
Okay, that's all.
That's it? That's a wrap?
Or else. Okay, so what do you want to say?
Right.
So, in order to know that, you have to think about it.
Right, so this is not just the literal say the word clearly.
No.
You're saying you got to understand what you're going to say
Right. What
to
do I
clearly
wanna-
state a point.
What do I want to say to you?
Right.
Or what do you want to say to me? What do you want to say to somebody if you're looking for a position in a company?
Sure.
I want a job. Not going to get you very far, is it?
Right.
I've done work like this, and I seem to do it well, and I enjoy it.
Right.
What do you enjoy about it? Well, tell a story, and or you ask a question.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you ask somebody a question, if you're seeking a job, you want to determine whether or not you guys are going to be able to function together.
Right.
Right. So you got to be. It's a two-way interview.
In fact, I think in most cases the argument could be made that listening is 2 times as important as speaking. And that we did this on conversation before, but you'll better understand, A, where they're coming from, what they're needing, and B, like you were just saying, can I meet that need? Am I truly, is this going to work for me?
Right. I was a really good patient educator. I was not very good at Alzheimer's nursing.
Sure.
So those are 2 separate areas.
Right.
And everybody's not strong in everything.
Right.
They're not. And I remember somebody telling me once, because I told them some of my wars, oh man, you must have just been awesome. I said, no, in some areas I sucked.
Yeah.
In other areas I was good, and in some areas I was adequate.
Right.
Kind of like a little bell curve. So you're looking at a job. You want to ask somebody, what are your ethics?
Yeah.
What are your standards? What
Right.
will you do? What won't you do? How do your customers find you? How much of your business is generated by word of mouth versus formal advertising?
Right.
if this XYZ scenario took place and I did this, how would you react to it?
Sure.
Would you rather I do this or do that? How much individual latitude do you give people? Or do you want them to come back to you and get feedback all the time, you know? Friendship, what do you want to say to your friend? You know, I have a friend that preaches at me ad nauseum, and I've asked him to stop many times. And I think it's to the point where the friendship is not as solid. Sad. Care about the guy, great guy. But he can't stop.
Yeah.
He's incapable of stopping.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, this is never going to stop. It's like a headache,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Terrible, just terrible. And it's like, if he said to me, can I quote you 3 sentences and how they related to something that happened to me in my life or my kids, I would say, yeah. Not 30 sentences, 3,
Right.
you know, not 3 pages.
Right.
And then you're going to make me listen for 20 minutes while you recite
Right.
3 sentences.
Right.
Yeah, I would love to hear that,
Right.
you know. So with your friend, maybe you have to state boundaries.
Sure.
No, I can't loan you $500. I can loan you 50. Why can't you loan me 500? I can't afford to lose it.
Right.
Or it's not in my budget. You know, I can afford to lose 50. If it takes you 10 years to pay me $50 back, we can do that gracefully. I can't do that with 500 or 400 or 300 or 200.
Right.
Right? 50? Here. I'll write you a check right now, you know. So you can state your desires, your limits, your boundaries, your ground rules, you know. Tell somebody what you like about them,
Right.
you know. A resolution, how do you, resolution, of course, can mean 2 different things. It can mean I'm making a resolution, or it could mean that you're resolving something.
Sure.
You know, so there's an example right on the page itself where I'm forced to clarify something. Which do I mean?
Right.
So if I'm making a resolution, the one thing I would say about making resolutions is the louder you make them, the less likely they are to succeed.
Sure.
It's stage work,
Yeah.
you know. It's like the New Year's resolution. They're big, they're grandiose, they're loud,
Right.
they're performances.
Yeah.
But I don't think that gets you anywhere.
Well, statistics would prove you primarily correct.
Okay.
I mean, statistically speaking, a small percentage actually go the distance.
Yeah.
But we tell everybody, plaster them all over social media, and that's wonderful if you truly intend. But if it's not here,
Right.
it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I know, like, I don't know. You step into a pattern. I've used the word cadence. You develop a habit. Like, I like to exercise, so I walk a minimum of 9,500 steps a day. So let's say 29 out of 30 days I do that. I think my worst walking day was just a little under 8,000 recently. Usually I walk between 10 and 15,000 steps a day. So that's part of what I do. I like exercise like with weights or body weight. So I do that about twice a week, you know. But there's no sign on my wall.
Right.
I haven't gotten up in front of 30 people with a megaphone and told them what I'm going to do.
Right.
I get in the habit of it. I add a little bit at a time, and I grow very slowly because I don't want to burn out. Burnout's a really interesting thing. When you start developing a desire to not do something, it's probably because you're burning out.
Yeah.
So maybe you increased too much too quickly.
Sure.
You know, so resolution, do I want to solve something? How do I want to solve it? You know, I don't know. You know, maybe, like I used to go to a group a meeting with some other people, and it was at 6 in the morning. And I said, I don't get up at 6 in the morning. It screws up my sleep cycle for a whole week. Oh, well, that's when we meet. At this point, I'm not going to be able to attend these meetings. I love the group, but it's not good for me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's only one day. And one day screws me up for a week. I can't do that. And so the resolution, after I told them my limit and there was no latitude, was I'm not going to be back for a while, if ever.
Right.
And then the group fell apart. It was sad, you know. Pace and volume of speech. Am I speaking too slowly? I could think of a pastor who talks about the life of Jesus like this. He's like depressed John Wayne, you know? And you're like, please stop. Please stop. You know, and it's like, how many more words till you fall off the chair, you know?
Yeah.
It's never going to change. So am I speaking too loud? If I speak too loud, I'm going to drive you out of the room.
Right.
Right? If I speak too softly,
I'm going to bed.
gone, right?
Right.
Or if I speak too loud, I'm also being like domineering.
Right, right.
Nobody wants to be shoved around.
Right.
Right? So where's that middle space?
Right.
Right? Interesting. One idea at a time.
Right.
Right? Why? Because you can barely grasp one. You can't grasp two. One. You can build them together.
Right.
You can combine them, but you first have to understand what they mean.
Right.
Then maybe you weave them together. Responding to falsehoods with dignity. What's a goddamn lie? Right? That's not dignity, right? You say, I don't find any true. I know you mean to accomplish something good here, but I don't find that to be true. Right? Not, I don't find you to be truthful.
Right.
That's not dignity.
Right.
But I don't find that to be truthful.
Sure.
You're telling them, I think you're delivering false information, but I'm not saying you're intending a falsehood.
Right.
Right? It's very different. Eye contact. How much? How much? I mean, if I look at you normally, it's 2 to 5 seconds.
Right.
Much more than that, it's a will.
Like a stare down.
Exactly. Right.
When I was a kid, we used to play who blinks first. But outside of that, you're right. It's another. It's another sort of it can be a domination sort of
it is. It's a
tactic.
Well, they say one thing. I heard somebody talking about this, and it made so much sense. They said, if you're talking to a group of people, keep looking over at their foreheads.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, if you're looking in their eyes, it makes you nervous and you get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just look in their general direction, everybody feels included.
Correct.
Move around, and it's like, wow.
Right.
How simple.
Right.
You know, that's a wonderful tool, especially if there's a part of you that's shy, right? Like I'm very outspoken because of my principles, but I'm somewhat personally shy.
Yeah.
And people say, well, no, those are contradictions. No, they're not. If you really listen, the two can coexist,
Yeah.
right? For somebody that's doing public speaking who freezes, right? There's this very simple idea, and that is you're not the message, you're delivering the message. And the message is like bringing blood to a blood bank. You're bringing them something, you're bringing people who are dying of thirst water.
Right.
That's what you're doing. You've been given a message to deliver of some sort of a substance, and
Right.
information is a substance.
Right.
And this is going to save these people from some hardship.
Yeah.
It's not about you. They're not looking at whether or not your collar is, oh, look, oh, my button is,
Right.
that's not what's going on. They don't care.
Right.
What they care about is this water is clean and it's filtered. And it's going to save you. It's not going to give you dysentery, and you won't die of thirst.
Right.
And I'm here to deliver it to you. That's my mission. Oh, wow. Or how to hold a camera. Well, if you want to get a picture that people can understand, here's, you know more about that than I do. But, so those are some basic ideas. But I would love to hear what you have to say.
No, it's
about
very nice and in-depth, and I enjoyed it because, the literal sense of it is, am I speaking clearly? In other words, am I opening my mouth
Right.
and getting the words out?
Right.
But I liked the depth of that in terms of especially, first, what am I trying to say? What's the story I want to get across? Because I can speak clear words, but not be speaking clearly if I don't have a bullseye, if you will, on the dartboard to throw at. I enjoyed the pace, the tone, the level,
Right.
and even the idea of you need to listen to speak,
Right.
and the idea of speaking clearly, not just in the literal sense, but in a friendship or relationship of any sort, a working relationship, a marriage, speaking clearly in terms of where you stand.
Right.
So there's a lot of meanings beyond just, hi, my name is Simon.
You're right. Not a robot. Right.
And I enjoyed that. And I think there were a lot of great things to take away and apply to a student, a professional life, to a relationship. Great.
I've talked to some people, very good, sweet, good-hearted people who are just absolutely paralyzed with fear about speaking in front of a group.
Yeah.
And I would say, well, what are you talking about? Oh, we're talking about the value of a book. I say, okay. So how do you think they're responding to me? Oh, they probably think I'm 10 pounds too heavy. I said, okay. What else? Oh, I don't know if my shoes are really low. I see. Okay, what else? Oh, my hair isn't really nice. Okay. I said, well, what's the book? What do you mean? What's the book? Oh, it's a book about greed. Oh, that's a loaded topic, isn't it? Yeah. So it's about ethics, right? So it's about how you make the world better or worse? Exactly. I said, how important is that to you? That's incredibly important. Is that more important than your hair? Damn right it is. Oh. So you're bringing them something important. Once you get that across, do you think they care about your hair?
Right.
Your hair has disappeared. You're there to save them from doing something wrong.
Right.
You're serving their well-being. You're
Sure.
rescuing them. Oh.
Yeah.
They're now free of fear.
Right.
How did that happen? In their mind's picture, they were creating this focal point of their stagecraft instead of the substance of their message.
Right.
Once they got that difference, they were free of it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You could give them therapy for 20, 30 sessions and not accomplish a 10-minute conversation.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Very good.
Yeah.
You spoke clearly. I'm done. Till next time. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us for Reclaiming Timeless Ways.
Thank you.